Funding for Start the Beat is provided in part by our supporters on Patreon. Thank you. Oh, I fucked that up. Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, I hope you enjoyed the conversation and thanks so much for coming back. But for everyone out there who's new to the show, welcome. Feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer and soda in the fridge. Cheers. I decided to grab a Great Lakes out of the fridge in solidarity with my guests that are also drinking some of Cleveland, Ohio's finest. Let me take a sip. A refreshing treat. So, for everyone out there in the internet land, I hope you're doing well today. I'm sitting here today with some good friends of mine, kinda. Internet friends, people I've met in real life, people I've never met before. A mixture. Everybody make some noise for my friends in the Dave Matthews Band. Make some noise. Finally got the Dave Matthews Band on the show. Thanks for being here, guys.
Hey, no problem.
Be here.
All jokes aside, everybody make some noise for God Hates Unicorns. For everyone that is not familiar with today's guests, they are a band called God Hates Unicorns out of the Pittsburgh-ish and surrounding area, whatever the fuck you want to call it. There's rivers around. What would you like to say about yourselves? How would you like to confess your sins now?
We're not wearing masks. So
Yeah, that might be against all the whatever right now.
I think you guys are all right. We're still socially distant.
We're distant.
We're keeping this. We're keeping this as safe as possible. So you're a rock band, I would say, with elements of electronics and kind of gothy stuff. 80s, all the best things of the 80s and 90s put in a blender and poured down someone's fucking throat. That's what I would call your band.
I like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So you put out an album, or an album is coming out. I've heard the album, but I'm not too sure if I heard it in advance. What's the deal? What? Tell me about this Ding Dong album. Josh.
It comes out on February 12th.
Okay.
It's a full-length-ish album. Nine album tracks, 2 bonus tracks, 2 special bonus tracks. It's called No Glory Holes in Heaven, which is very dear to me. But yeah, it's been about a year in the making. We've been working tirelessly on it, and we couldn't wait any longer to put it out.
Yeah. So in terms of, getting started to put together this album, was this like pre-end of the world? Or, were you getting ready to record all this stuff before the lockdown and all that stuff happened?
It was literally right before the lockdown. We went into the studio to record like the basic tracks. It was like March 10th.
Yeah.
Like that.
It just started like the week before in Philadelphia. I think it finally made it into Pennsylvania. So it was like literally the week before everything just shut down.
Yeah. So I guess it was kind of, it's a convenient time for things to shut down. It forces you to kind of lock in and maybe focus more on some things that maybe you would have otherwise not spent so much time on. Do you feel like the pandemic helped or hurt the album?
Well, the only reason I'm on the album is because of the pandemic, so I would say it definitely made a negative impact.
Yeah.
So, how did you get involved with the album then as a result of the pandemic?
We held a gun to her head.
At first you said no anyway, but
yeah, so Josh was kind of my only pandemic friend. We've been very, very distant, haven't been doing really anything. Josh and his family have been the only people I've seen because I knew that they were kind of in the same boat, being very, very careful. And, our kids are best friends. So we have done things in the past, and they invited me to do vocals on one of the very spicy bonus tracks, Chipped Ma'am, something I had done on stage before. So I had gone in to do vocals for that and, correlated with the gang for a music video that's coming out, and everything was working really well. So, you know, I was contributing and putting backups to things and doing other things. And it got to a point where they were like, do you just want to be in this band at this point? I was like, yes, that is my dream come true.
You got 3 yeses and 2 no's, but I'm going to tell you the no's are.
Don't pick on Jess.
So, you know, it's kind of an interesting story. The same thing happened with my band Normal Creatures, and Evan, our guitar player. He just came over to play guitar on one song, and then 3 weeks later he was in the band. Just like, it wasn't a plan at all, but it's like, we're friends, we all get along, we enjoy being around each other, we're probably going to be around each other anyways. Like, if we're playing a show, you're probably going to be at the show. So why don't you just be on stage as well? Let's just stop putzing around.
That's a lot like how this went.
Mm-hmm.
Really not
We're
that different.
done putzing.
She just kept showing up. Well, I guess this will work.
I'm here.
So in terms of the songs then for the album, you know, all this stuff was written prior to Jessica joining the band. And then, you know, did anything really change with the songs after, you know, you started getting her more and more involved? Because there's a lot of vocal stuff that she's doing on the album. So was that stuff that you were doing all vocally yourself, Josh? Or was somebody else in the band doing it? Okay.
Well, some of it.
Yeah.
We rewrote several songs together.
There was a couple songs we did that weren't like quite done the way we liked them to be done. And then she joined, and I was like, well, I want to rework these songs. So get her more involved and make these songs better. Not Your Day was one of them, and I think that worked out really great. And then the song God Hates Unicorns worked out well the same way, where I was doing all the vocals initially, and then I was just like, it's a good song, but it's one of the ones where we can redo and make it better with a dueling vocalist.
Yeah, I think what's really cool about the vocals on the album is it's like, now it's not just like, it's like, Josh, you can like be as weird as you want and be as like off the chain as you want to be. And now you have like a nice counterpoint that kind of allows you to get away with things that maybe if it was just you, it would have been a little bit like, I don't know if this dude should be doing this or not.
Yeah.
But now there's like this like counterbalance. Well, it's like, well, I guess it's okay. It kind of like makes it more fun. It's more animated. I enjoy it a good bit. I think it's really cool what you're all doing. And then
Not Today, definitely. That.
Yeah, that was the perfect enhancement for that song.
It's an attack song gone wrong.
Sure.
And Jess definitely added like a whole nother dimension to that song. It's my favorite song on the album right now.
Yeah, prior to Jess, it was a good song. It was just seemed like it was missing just one thing, and then Jess came in and just nailed it right on the head.
And it's hard for Josh to write and sing a song about abduction and not come off as a total creep.
Sure.
Yeah.
If Jess turns the tables in the song, then it becomes okay, because now it's anti-abduction. Like, don't fuck with women because you might get the tables turned on you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, you know, there's a really interesting thing that you guys, or guys and gal, are doing on the album, where I had mentioned it before, like it's all this cool, like everything that's cool about the 80s and the 90s kind of thrown together. And one of the things that I really like about the songs that you're writing is like, there's a lot of attention to detail, I think, in the catchiness, and like, not even like just the hooks. Like there's a lot of fun hooks that like really get stuck in your head, which is really cool. And that's kind of a thing that I think a lot of people, especially in rock bands, tend to overlook, is like the power of the hook. It's like, you're not trying to be like this like crazy progressive technical thing. It just seems like you want to write fun, good, catchy rock songs.
Yeah.
So
That's the goal.
where, you know, can you tell me a bit more about like the songwriting process and like what inspired like this style and kind of this amalgamation of all of these things? I have my assumptions, but I want to hear it from you.
Jesus.
Well, yeah, Jesus was a big inspiration.
The first rock star, really. I mean, let's be honest.
Uh-huh.
You know, me and Tim had been playing together for, I don't know, 6 years or something like that. And even further, we had played together off and on over the years. I've known Tim forever. And then I met Matt during an improv class at the Arcade Comedy Club downtown in 2019. And he's a funny dude. And once I found out that he was such a good bass player, we started jamming. And, we kind of learned. I started playing with Josh and Jeff. And what's that kid's name? Nick. Yeah. So I started playing with them, and I learned their songs. And we just started writing some different things and trying some different things. And me and Matt get together and just throw it against the wall and see what happens. Really, there have been times where Jeff has brought stuff to practice that I just kind of feed off of, or Josh. Puppeteer started that way. So yeah, we try a couple different ways, and we just work it out. That's all. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that it's sometimes I can like listen to a band and it's very obvious that like everybody isn't on the same page. But it seems like everybody with this collection of songs were like on the same page, just because it's so like it's very cohesive from start to finish, which is really cool. Very like it doesn't happen a lot where you get like a band that can throw a dozen tracks at you that all sound like they belong together. There's always like a weird one, but I thought that the album was put together really well. So kudos.
I think that Johnny at Razorblade Recordings did a great job capturing all the unique little weird ear candy. There's a lot of weird stuff that it's there at practice, but you can't hear it. And then when you hear it recorded, you're like, it just feels like it's pulling my ear this way and that way, and I still hear all the other things I hear at practice. So kudos to him. He did an awesome job capturing something we weren't even sure we were trying to capture, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny, he knew what we sounded like, and he wanted to try to bring that to life and have it recorded. And he did an absolutely phenomenal job with it.
Yeah.
He took like all the bizarre weirdness and made it comprehensive and made everything just sound so ideal.
Yes, and we didn't lose any of that weirdness.
No, it's all still there. It just fits so much better.
And Josh and Jess, they had their own weirdness, lyrically and delivery. So. Thanks.
No, I think that they're. No, I think that it's really cool because honestly, with like the kind of stuff that you're doing, it's so easy for it to be like really cornball when you're like on that line. But it's like you want it to be like it's like how do I make this like a rock album that's like has the charm of a B movie, but not in a bad way.
Yeah. Right.
But I feel like, you were able to accomplish that. So, all right, that's enough nice things that I said about you. So,
hey, before you move on,
fuck you all. Go to hell.
I've listened to some of your album too. And I got to give you some compliments, man. That's some good stuff.
Well, thank you.
I really like your album for 666 Ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Or the video.
Oh, thank you.
It definitely entertained me. I've watched it a few times.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think
Get one of them new shirts too.
I'm sorry?
I said I want one of those new shirts.
Oh, hey.
Boxing.
Pick them up. www.normalcreatures.net/merch. No, thank you. So hopefully whenever, the ball is rolling and people aren't dying, because I guess, we're all going to get vaccinated and become immortal, we could play a show together. That'd be tight.
Oh, yeah. Maybe even versus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think you want this smoke, boy.
I do.
No, that'd be a blast. So in terms of, performances on the album, I want to get back to Josh and Jessica here. Really, really cool dynamics and like characters in your voices. It seems like whenever you're writing these songs, like it seems like you're getting into different characters, like with the way you decide to deliver your vocals. And Josh, I'm curious, like where does that come from? What were some of your vocal and lyrical inspirations? Like what made you want to be such a
Mercury.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I love Freddie Mercury, but yeah. My vocal inspirations, like a lot of like Nick Cave, Les Claypool, like a lot of weird accents and weird ways of delivery and off beat, but still in the pocket delivery to try to hit the notes where you could hear it, but it's also like it stands out enough, but it still blends in. Honestly, this is my first band I'm actually really singing in, and it's very fucking bizarre to me that they're even letting me do it. But a lot of it has to do with that, though. Just like, hey, let's be a dickhead and let's get weird Southern accents I have.
Sure.
I don't know where that comes from.
Do you sometimes feel like it's easier to perform or easier to do things outside of your like technical comfort zone if you're in a character versus it just being Josh? Like, is it easier for you to sing? Like, if you're like, well, I'm being this weirdo.
Yeah, I guess that has a lot to do with it. A lot of character work. I mean, I don't think I'm anybody else or like I'm trying to do anything else, but like I get in that mindset where it's like, oh, well, this is how I'm doing it and what I'm doing. So let's take the ball and roll with it.
Yeah.
Alcohol helps.
Tight.
Everything for fun.
Yeah. I think that the other thing that I'm curious about with your band and putting out an album, not even everything that goes into putting out an album, right? Like you have to get together, which you have to fucking hang out with these people, right? A lot. And you got to fucking write these songs and you got to play them over and over again. And then you got to fucking go record them and you got to fucking spend money and you got to figure out what the album cover is going to be and this and that. Like, that's a lot, right? Yeah. And none of us are getting any fucking younger. Why does God hate unicorns? God hates unicorns. Why the fuck are you still doing this?
I'm addicted to it personally. I gotta keep creating stuff. I don't know. I don't sleep a whole lot. Like doing artwork or doing video work or going to a studio working on songs. Even our text thread is creative. Like, I love talking to these people. They are hilarious. And Jess did not miss a beat when she stepped into the text thread. The shit you guys say crack me up on a daily basis. So even if it was just that, I would still keep talking to you guys, and we weren't even making music. It would be still fun.
Yeah, I think that you really hit the nail on the head there, in terms of what I think the most important thing for a band to like achieve any sort of like long-term success as a band, not necessarily like monetary, like fame success, but success as in like, oh, we can get together and write songs, is friendship. I think it's like really fucking crucial that you actually get along with the people in your band. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I can't speak for all of you, but I know that I've definitely spent a lot of time in bands with people that I didn't like, and I wonder why those things didn't work out, because I just didn't even fucking like being around these people.
Yeah. I mean, music's all about having fun too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're not having fun, it's just not going to look the same. You're just going to look like you're there at doing your job, and you're not going to be happy at it. So why bother? You have to actually enjoy what you're doing and just have fun with it. And when you can do it with people you get along with, it's all the better.
And listeners can pick up on that. Whatever vibe you're putting down, they can hear it. If you're faking it, if you're outside, your ability. If you're adding comedy to it, I guess, but if everybody's really putting their 100% in and it's working and everybody's kind of bouncing off each other, it creates a fun vibe, whether it's a serious song or something totally crazy like Abduction gone wrong.
That's a serious song.
You can feel it. I feel it. I have a great time listening to it. So I think other people will.
Yeah.
It's a great dynamic, and I was excited to be a part of it. Like, I was excited initially, obviously, being asked to do it because I liked all the music aspect, but just getting to, like you're saying, be on the threads and talk to everybody and get to, kind of hang out the limited times we can. It's been a blast. Like, everybody's awesome. So it's like hanging out at the cool kids table.
Except for Matt, he kind of sucks.
Yeah, he kind of.
Matt kind of sucks, but he's all right.
Sorry, Matt.
No, Matt is great. He's hilarious.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. Very energetic person.
Yes.
Me and him play some characters together sometimes. We've done some improv and some sketch comedy together, and that's coming too. We're gonna do some sketches for God Hates Unicorns.
Perfect.
We're doing a coloring book too, so it's like we can't stop creating off the wall stuff.
No, I think that honestly, like for a band like what the kind of music that you put out there, right? I feel like it's almost a requirement to just like really go full force with like how ridiculous can we present this. I feel like I relate in a way with my band because it's like this is weirdo shit, and like, you know, none of us in the band are pretty to look at, so we're not gonna sell this. So it's like, yeah, let's fucking do some weird shit and just advertise the weird shit and like make it less about us as people, you know, like looking cool. Check out us, like we look great and we're hot and we have music. It's like, no, we have to do, you know, coloring books. That's a great idea. It helps. It was a perfect segue actually into my next question, because you have this album that is coming out and it's like, well, what the fuck, how do we promote this thing? So I was going to ask about like what some of your ideas in a pandemic world were going to be for pushing this album.
Well, we decided to put it out Valentine's weekend. So we have like personalized Valentines for everyone who pre-orders a record or a CD copy anyway.
CD, yeah.
And then we have the coloring books we're going to be sending out to people as well. And then, just nonstop press and nonstop social media presence really in this pandemic, because what else can you do? You're not playing shows. You're not talking to them personally. It's pretty much what random ass stuff can you give people they might be interested in.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely moving forward going to be a very interesting time to see how bands really adapt. I think that the past year, a lot of people have been kind of like holding out hope, thinking like, well, we'll just lay low until things come back. And I'm over here like, I don't think anything's happening. I don't know if I'm ever going to play a show again. Yeah. I don't like to think that that's true, but I feel like if I have that mindset instead of like crossing my fingers and thinking that shows are going to be back in a couple months, it might be better in the long run to just like, okay, I'm just going to pretend shows are never going to happen again. Now what? What do I do? How do I still make this fun?
Survival of the fittest. You know, you got to adapt to the way things are changing.
Absolutely.
You know, I like the idea that you had mentioned about like doing sketches and things like that. You had mentioned that you did some improv comedy and things like that. What made you want to get into that world?
I have a chaotic personal life sometimes, and chaos for me breeds creativity. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to make fun of it. And I love comedy. I think stand-up comedy is some of the most important and scary things that you could ever do in your life, because it's just you and a microphone and an audience full of people that they want to laugh, but they can turn on you in a second. There's no guitar to hide behind. There's no other people to make noise for you. So yeah, I took a couple classes and I met Matt, and we took some improv classes. He took a sketch comedy class, sketch writing. I took a stand-up class, and we wrote some sketches. And it's super fun. It's like so fun. It's definitely on par with playing live music. Writing something and getting out there with a group of people and being completely silly. We did a sketch where I played Sal, the tour manager of the Vince Neil Diamond tour. And it was totally ridiculous. Matt played Vince Neil. We were drinking and doing coke, pretending, because we're we don't have any props or anything like that. But it was hilarious. It was just so much fun. And some other friends from the Arcade Comedy Theater.
You gonna try to, I mean, I guess it's kind of hard because like, I guess we're not supposed to hang out with people, but it's like, in a world where you could, would you try to get some of those people to come in on sketches and help do stuff or any with you guys?
Definitely. I want to do some sketch stuff for us. Like, you can just post it to our Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good idea. It's like, I don't know. The one thing that really, I don't want to say it bums me out because that sounds a little dramatic, but the thing, I'll just say it bums me out. I think that people moving forward, it's going to be like, the music is only going to be a very small percentage of what matters whenever you're moving forward as a band through this pandemic. I feel like you're going to need to have like all of this other extracurricular bullshit to be able to like stay afloat. But like, I don't know. I like making a fun music video every once in a while, but like, I don't want that to be everything that I do.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how do but I also need to like, as we mentioned, we need to have this positive energy. We got to be putting stuff out that like people know that we like doing and people are having fun. So we're inviting people to our fun party. But the idea of like doing that forever just doesn't sound fun to me. Ugh, it's bumming me out. Bumming me out.
We've talked about doing a sitcom, which I think would be a sitcom about a band trying to figure out how to survive during the pandemic. 2021, everything's totally different. There are no giant bands anymore. But a sitcom, like 2021, the Monkees, you know, God Hates Unicorns. We're trying to figure.
Have you guys thought about doing any of those fucking live stream shows or anything like that?
We've talked about it. Yeah, we're thinking about maybe doing one, maybe March, April, or something like that. But right now, it's all about promoting the album, getting as much attention as we can to it.
And Valentine's Day cards.
So we have Valentine's Day cards. We have a whole spiel. We're writing those today, actually.
So it seems like you guys are pretty good about being a band. What I mean by that is like, you seem like for as goofy as everything is, I feel like there's this air of reasonable professionalism from you guys. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, like, how do you all navigate, like, how do you enjoy navigating this professional band landscape in 2021 with, needing to have 25 different social media accounts and posting all of this stuff? Like, are you into it? Because I think like I really bounce back and forth. Like, well, there are days where like I think this is fucking awesome and I love the fact that I have all of these tools, and then there's other days where I just feel like really overwhelmed and just fucking over it.
I've been liking the social media. Yeah. It gives me like a special purpose. But just knowing it's like I'm gonna make something for somewhere every day is kind of like it's like a little itch you can scratch without, it's like you're not doing shows, you're not doing this. But I can put a picture up. So it gives you like just a little something so you can still have like some sort of a presence and like a task, no matter what. So in that way, I think it's been really positive.
And we've been dividing and conquering too. Like there's 6 of us, so we could easily like, okay, well, you're responsible for this. Mm-hmm. You're responsible for that. Like Marcus is doing the video and doing getting the CD stuff ready. Jeff's doing the website. Like me and Jess are handling the social media aspect, more Jess than myself, but dividing it all up so it's not too much on one person, so that one person's getting sick of it.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely important to be able to do that and know your strengths and weaknesses as like a contributor to something outside of the music. And I think that it's really, really, I don't know. I think it's crucial for people to be able to enjoy doing that stuff. Like having somebody that actually enjoys creating the social media content is great. Because it's the voice of the band now, I guess. Without that, the only reason that I see all your ding dong posts all the time is because you're posting a lot and I see it and I'm like, oh wow, they're going for it.
Yeah. Well, what else can you do at this time? Mm-hmm. You can't play shows. You can't be out meeting people. You can't, we'd love to be in your studio right now, but we can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because we're at the times we're at. So it's like, okay, what can we do to make this the best we can? It's posting all the time, you know, hitting people up we haven't talked to in a while just to see how they're doing and just trying to go it that way. Otherwise, we'll just be sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah. I think that it's, I don't know what, I don't know. I'm very, very curious to see what happens once we start getting into spring. I'm starting to see more people on my timeline talking about like they're playing shows. A lot of people were booking shows, and I guess the shows never really stopped, to be honest. Like, I think like since maybe like from March to June, there was nothing, but I started seeing stuff happening in June, and it's been pretty consistent. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, and we're all fucking adults, so people can do whatever the fuck they want. Yeah. But I just don't like understand like why you would want to play a show now. Do you feel like it's that important to play for, you know, your 5 friends that you went to college with?
Yeah, local shows weren't very important when there wasn't a pandemic.
Yeah.
It sure as hell ain't important now.
Yeah.
Like, wait and see, be safe. Like, well, you're going to play some hole in the wall, like you said, to 5 friends, when it's like, okay, now you're risking people's lives, you're risking this and that. It's like, why are you doing this?
You know, that's even before the pandemic, and I've talked about this before on the show, but it gets to a point with like the local shit where I sometimes have to ask myself in the band, like, okay, like, why are we agreeing to play this show? You know, like, it's like a venue we've played plenty of times. We know what people are going to be there. We've played with the bands. Why are we doing this? And like, it's always like, well, it'd be nice to see everyone. And it's like, you know, we could see everyone without having to pack up all of our gear and drag it across town. Like, we can just go hang out with people. We don't need to give some scumbag promoter, you know, $10 tickets so we can go hang out with our friends. Like, we could fucking do that ourselves. So the thing was like, I think that whenever stuff comes back around, I'm really excited to see just like how many more people are able to like keep it reeled in and maybe not feel like they have to play so much, because that was always my number one culprit, I think, for if there was any problem that the local music scene had, was I thought that there was just some bands that just played too fucking much. And it's like very, very exhausting. Like, because the other thing too, and I know that like, you know, some of the people in this chat could speak for this. It's like there's like so many people in the music scene don't know how to be in just one band. So now you have like, you know, all of these bands that are also in 5 other bands that are playing, that basically was like, have like this like gang territory over different venues. And it's just like, how is this going to grow like this? Yeah.
You got to trade shows with people outside your circle. That's the deal. And sometimes people are not so accepting of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, you want to gain their fans, they want to gain your fans. And, you know, ideally you play maybe once a month where like, you know, 500 people show up instead of 35.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that it's difficult for bands like your band and my band as well, because like we don't really fit in anywhere. But the cool thing about that is we can pretty much play with anyone and fit in. Like, you know, like my band's doomed to be that weirdo band on every bill. You know, it's and that's cool. But whenever you're like trying to work with people that don't know you, it could be really hard trying to like get shows out of town and stuff like that. Cause it's like, who are you and what do you do? Like what? Yeah. It's just like, we're really cool. You'll have a good time, I promise. And people are like, yeah, okay, buddy.
Notoriety is everything. Once you get that, it'll be good.
Yeah.
But they do want to categorize you. They want to figure out what can you do and how many, you know, different bands can we put you with that don't make sense. And really, I mean, it's all subjective, you know. Your band, my band, everybody's band is a little bit different. And you're just coming from wherever, you know, whatever feels good inside of you to make whatever music feels right.
Yeah, you know, it seems like when you guys are writing songs, my assumption is there is kind of like a nothing's off the table sort of approach. Like if it's sounds good, we'll roll with it. It doesn't really seem like you guys are locked into any certain genre. But I was like curious if there was ever a time when putting something together where maybe like it was like maybe too much of something where you felt like this just doesn't make sense. Like we're weird, but this is too weird for us. Has that ever happened?
Not yet. I don't think. Have we ever thrown anything against the wall that didn't stick? I don't know. Any totally, completely
nothing major.
We've had some ideas for stuff that
just ideas, yeah.
Like someone should have said no, but we're still talking about them today.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm supposed to be better about saying no and things.
But she greenlights everything I say.
I'm like, great.
we're talking like doing like infomercials, right? For like different things, and one of them was like a vaginal chapstick.
Yeah, which I think we're doing.
Yeah, it's like,
I say yes.
Vagabomb.
Grease your crease.
Grease. Yeah. You gotta grease that crease. We have unicorn dildos possibly coming.
Jess, you were good. You were good at keeping things grounded in the art. Like when we started to cross the line, you were like, "Nah, that's too much. Let's go back in."
Try to like if it's like the cover thing, I'm like, I gotta have some sense of like, let's
right.
You
gotta let the viewer guess a little. I get it.
Can I hear more about these abandoned cover ideas?
And then there's the holy lubrication.
The holy lubrication. No, the only thing I said was, everybody's seen the cover. My big rule, and I was kind of being a bee about it, is that I didn't want a mouth behind it. I was like, it's gonna throw it into the too much zone.
Okay.
So I mean, we're not trying to be overly offensive or gross. You got to leave something to the imagination.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the imagination? It's a fucking glory hole.
No, but
what's going to be behind it?
Who's behind the glory hole? There's going to be someone back.
Mystery.
Someone sanitary looking.
Yeah, mystery mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to buy the album to find out who's behind the glory hole.
Because there is somebody behind that glory hole. You will see. And Marcus, that was brilliant, by the way.
That wasn't even my idea. That was Matt.
Okay, well, Matt was brilliant. Good job, Matt.
Me and Matt were on like hour 6 of one day.
It doesn't suck anymore.
No, the inside is amazing. I was like, and I feel really bad. I was such a
no, it's good. It's much appreciated.
It's brilliant.
Well, it was a mouth like missing teeth.
Well, the first one, I was like,
joking
no, it was so next level gross. You can't put this up. You can't have it somewhere.
But to answer your question, nothing's off the table.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
not much anyway.
No, absolutely.
Couple things. Little
well, that's it's funny actually to like see that side, because it's like, you know, it really highlights an interesting conversation that comes up in bands, because you write these songs and, like, you know, bands write good songs, bands write bad songs, they write songs, but eventually they have a collection of songs and they want to put them out as an album. But now it's like, okay, well, what's the album cover going to be? What's the album going to be called? How are we going to brand this? Is like, you know, if we use a hot topic term, branding. And like, I don't know, a lot of the times people in bands, like, none of them are marketing people. They're not thinking about like what is a good album cover. So hearing, you know, that being the issue where like, oh, okay, now we have a problem in some way, not a huge problem, but like there's no way we can have this gross mouth on this album cover is funny.
We knew we wanted a glory hole, and Jess made a whole bunch of glory holes in her basement.
There are still quite a few.
Yeah, there's a ton here. But we knew we wanted a glory hole and like real raunchy bathroom setting and this and that. We just didn't know what was going to be behind it,
or how far we were going to take it.
So
graffiti, what it would say.
You know, the moment that your arts and craftsing a glory hole in your basement, and you're just like, I'm an adult, I'm doing this. This is cool.
Yeah. And it was like, I need a different kind of tape for this glory hole. I need to go to the store. This tape I have, it doesn't like look nice around the rim. So then I had to go buy new tape. Like it was a very artistic process.
Okay, so it was a lot more of a trial and error, and maybe not like any sort of a digital market research on like the proper construction of a glory hole. No.
Well, I did used to manage an adult mart.
Oh, okay.
So I had a pretty good idea.
Okay. I feel like
market research, you could call that.
Yeah. I feel like that's a job that would change a person.
Yeah. It certainly does. But I think for the better. Yeah.
I mean, everybody absorbs the information that they're given on a daily basis in different ways. But yeah, I would imagine that would be a job that would definitely, what were your feelings on life before and after that job? Give a very blanket statement.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a better idea of life in general now. I'll say that much.
At least glory holes in general.
And I needed that information. All of that.
It paid off in the end.
Not to completely derail this conversation, but I mean, it is a podcast, so I guess that's what we do. Did you find that your time, employed at such an establishment and those experiences that you may have digested in one way or another throughout the days, and then coming into this project and being a part of this team and writing these songs and the humor around everything, do you think that it made it easier, or were you always the kind of person that found this sort of shit funny?
I mean, I think I always found it funny, but after that experience, nothing is crazy. You've seen it all. You've experienced, every crazy thing. So it's never it's kind of cool to come into a group of guys that are yeah, we like raunchy. This is funny. This is fun, because it's not ever a place where this is too offensive for me, because it's really not. It's all good. It's just hilarious.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I'm not one of those people that is gets mad at people that are offended by things. That's a thing now. People just get over it, babies. Yeah. Everybody's a fucking pussy. It's I'm not that guy. If you're allowed to be, you can feel however you want about whatever.
Has a line.
But it is cool though to still see a band like you guys that aren't afraid, not even afraid, but it's you're raunchy and it's goofy and it's silly and it's it makes sense. But it makes sense to me because I feel we're all in the similar age range and we grew up around different things. And it's I'd be really surprised if there was a band doing what you were doing, but they were in their early 20s. I would be wow, you're dangerous. But we're just a bunch of fucking old fogies. So who cares what we're saying, right?
You got to go through some shit to write the stuff we do. It doesn't come straight out. You can't do this stuff at 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
You got to been through some shit.
Mm-hmm. Musically, I'm not sure about the history of how this band was formed. So maybe real quick, somebody can tell me where did this start? What's the nucleus of this band?
I'm going to let it Jeff.
Oh, all right.
Jeff, you're on.
Okay, well, we're just sitting around, me and Josh one day, we're just sitting around drinking one day, and we had nothing better to do. So we just thought hey, want to go make some noise? Try to do something productive instead of just sitting around drinking beer, right? Because beer is one of the finer things in life, and it is a essential staple for just life in general. Yeah, exactly. So, we just started making noise and throwing stuff around, and then we started playing a couple of shows, and then we ended up getting one of Josh's friends from somebody he knew from a previous band, Nick.
An adult bookstore, I think it was. Right?
Yeah. Nick worked at an adult bookstore.
Oh.
Wow.
He just frequented one. He didn't work there. He just frequented. You told me that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't remember. It's kind of early, so we'll leave it like that. But he has something to do with an adult bookstore, and eventually, we played shows with Marcus and Tim's band, and we always had such a great time with those guys because they always had a lot of fun. And, you know, we just seemed to fit in really well. And then one day, like that, Marcus and Matt, or Tim's band broke up. So they just came over and joined us because we needed a drummer for the longest time. And, you know, things were going really well. And then Nick eventually just left for some reason, which we still don't know why. But, you know, we were going along.
It's not for everybody. Weak at heart, you know? I mean, I don't know.
But, well, in any event, you know, Nick left, and then we still needed like something because it was we were still missing something. Everything was going well. And then, you know, like the New God Hates Unicorn song was a perfect example. It was a song. It's a good song. It's just missing something. And then that's where Jess kind of came in and just filled in all the blanks and just fit perfectly for what we're doing.
You ruined the whole fucking thing.
You ruined it.
So, you know,
Or you can ruin it, yeah.
so, you know, then from the beginning, there was always, I guess, like this feeling of like, we're just doing this to have fun. And like, these songs are probably going to be about what these songs are going to be about, like from the start. Like, it wasn't a situation where like say Josh would come into this later. Like, say you guys have all of this music written and you're spending a long time trying to find a vocalist, right? Because that happens. Bands go through that, right? Yeah. And you're spending all this time trying to find a vocalist, right? And you finally find a guy, but it's Josh. And he brings all of this stuff to the table, all these wacky ideas and these wacky voices, like, be like, oh, okay, like, this wasn't what we were expecting, but okay. It would just be like really interesting if that was the case.
I think it kind of really all worked out too, because Josh does bring a lot of wacky ideas. But like, you know, I had met Matt at a comedy theater, and like the song "What Makes a Man." I don't know how he came up with that. It was Matt's idea just for the concept, and then Josh ran with it.
Well, Jeff had the electronics for it.
Song. What's that?
Jeff had the electronics for the beginning of that. With the melody, and then Matt had the idea for the "What Makes a Man" part of it.
Right, and then I was a couple practices at Neostem's practice place.
Don't shout them out, man. Fuck Neostem.
I was gonna wear their shirt, but I washed my car with it the other day. So
no. But yeah, like it started as a kind of a gag, but like as it progressed, and these guys are very helpful with streamlining my weirdness,
absurdness.
Like they, you know, like a really bad idea.
Nothing wrong with
it. They'll be like, how can we make this worse?
So, the another thing that I was just thinking about, Josh. I know it may be a while before we get to play shows, but Josh, you're a man with a lot of exciting pants. So can we talk about your pants? Did you have these pants before the band, or were these pants a result of the band?
Josh wears pants.
That is a good point.
Yeah, just be happy I'm wearing pants.
No matter what he has.
It is very, but I've had some before. I've been in like different like musical outfits throughout my years, so I've always like dressed the part to try to be like as outlandish as I can be. But the tights are new, like the leggings and the unicorn leggings. I have leopard print pants. I have all, you know. Now I'm getting into more of the leggings and the fishnets angle for some of our photo shoots because, you know.
Scaring everybody, but
I'm not scaring anybody. I'll look good in them.
One guy is scary.
Well, I'm scaring Jeff apparently, but everybody else is very turned on, like uncontrollably so. It's ridiculous. You should see my inbox just from like putting a photo out. It's insane, which is with the pants I wear. But yeah, I've always, you know, dressed the part of how I wanted to be perceived, as far as like in a group, or, you know, going out to dinner. My wife loves it, and you know, she bought a tutu for her birthday party this year, and she's like, I wonder how long it's going to be till you're wearing that. I think it was like 2 days, and I was like taking a photo for one of our promo t-shirt things. I was wearing her tutu, so yeah. It's like, yeah,
you know that
serious questions about, is this really what I want to represent here? But
we don't care, honestly.
No, it's all good.
Absurdity is really good. When you're wearing something silly and you try to portray yourself in a serious way, or vice versa, you want to be really absurd and dress in a suit or something.
Well, the more obnoxious, the better.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like whenever you're deciding that you're going to go down this road as not even just a band, but an entertainer in general, like you really just have to go for it as unapologetically as possible.
Exactly.
Because if there's like even the slightest bit of like self-doubt or something, like it's just going to shine brighter than everything else and nobody's going to give a shit. You just really have to like lock it in.
You can't put fishnets on and be afraid. Like you have to have some confidence to wear a fishnet,
Sure.
no matter who you are. Really.
Well, yeah, you got to have that arrogance about you.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not arrogant, you're not gonna be able to wear fishnets.
Yeah, I think that you know, I'm all for kindness in all of these things. You know, I find myself to be a kind person, but when it comes to rock music, I think like there needs to be arrogance and cockiness in rock music for it to like really be successful. I think like one of the reasons why rock music air quote died and like why, you know, all the top 40 stuff is no longer guitar driven music is because like everybody that makes guitar music just stopped having an attitude. And it's like, this isn't attractive to anybody.
Exactly. No. It's a roller coaster, man. You got to lean into it. You know, if you're not leaning into it, you may as well just not do it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
You know, we had mentioned kind of bringing up you know, significant others and whatnot. My final question before we wrap things up is, you know, what is it like being in a band like this as an adult with other adults in your life that have to see your art? How do they all react to the end product of what's going on when somebody's like, hey, you play in a band, right? And you're like, yeah. What's the name of your band? And you're like, God Hates Unicorns. Oh, okay. You guys are putting out an album, right? Like an album? Yeah, we have an album. What's it called? What has this experience been like, you know, since the start of the band? Just talking with like family and other adults in your circle that maybe are outside of the music scene.
Let's go first.
Well, you just got to come out with it. Is what you got to do. We're with God Hates Unicorns, and our album is called No Glory Holes in Heaven. And, you know, not something you may want to talk about if you're a churchgoer, but at the same time, if you're at pretty much anywhere else, you'll be just fine. You're going to offend those, but you're going to drive some people away, and the people that do like what you're doing, you're going to bring those in. And that's generally what we're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you make your noise and be as obnoxious as you want, get rid of the fluff on top, and then you bring in the people on bottom that you do like. You know, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Well put, Jeff. I don't really talk about it. I just pretend like I'm a normal person. I go to work and do like my normal things. Nobody at work pays any attention to this shit that I do. If they do, they'll give me a chuckle on the sideline or something like that, or I'll post something at them or send them a video or something like that. They shake their head and have no idea. But
that is the best reaction, though.
It is the best reaction. I don't have to answer anybody. They accept me. My kids don't have any idea what the album's called or what it would mean or anything like that, obviously. But yeah, it I imagine would be a difficult conversation for some people.
I mean, you know, I feel like eventually a light bulb's going to go off in their head one day. It's going to happen.
Probably. Daddy, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
They're going to see the Ship Man video we're going to put out in a little bit, and they're going to be like, wait, I work with that guy.
Right. I know him. Is he allowed to live in the house?
Yeah,
we were just reading Valentine's to her dad.
Mine was very nice, and that's the thing I try to, you know, I with my people. It depends on who it is. I don't outwardly like, you know, to the adults in my life that aren't like into this kind of thing. I'm not going to be like, No glory holes in heaven, right? You know, I keep it very subdued.
February 12th.
It's February 12th. But then I have to remember that everybody still knows me. Like my dad was bringing me pizza at the Adult Mart. He's not going to be surprised. So that's why I always like, that's why I always try to think. It's like anybody who really knows me isn't going to be like, what? They're going to be like, of course.
I don't really know you. Who gives a fuck about them?
Well, I mean, we have professional relationships that we do want to maintain. But
I mean, I'm the only one who's proud of the record.
I am proud of the record too.
No one tells anybody about it. But I'm like,
I don't talk about it like to like my customers at work.
I tell my in-laws about it.
Thanksgiving, Josh is like, hey, I got an album.
Yeah, I would
You
give
guys might know about this.
Like you guys have to
You
buy
can
it.
relate.
You know who we are. You know who I am. It's not a surprise.
Yeah,
Like, my wife's like I said, with the tutu, she's like, she's not surprised by any of this. She supports it, and her parents kind of do too.
I think that, you know, that's the best position to be in. It's really funny because I've been in the position where I've worked jobs where it's like the moment that anybody finds out I do music, it's like the worst. Like I just don't want people to know what I do. But that was all a long time ago. Because now obviously you get a job somewhere and everybody sends you a Facebook friend request, and it's like people know what I do now. I can't hide from it. But before social media and we all had, you know, computers in our pockets 24/7, it was a lot easier to kind of keep it in the background. So No Glory Holes in Heaven, February 12th, available, I imagine, on all major streaming platforms.
Yes, and CDs as well.
Yes.
We have CDs with Valentine's Day cards and coloring books.
Where can people acquire these things, the physical goods?
GodHatesUnicorns.com. You can go there, buy a CD, buy a T-shirt, buy a Chipped Ma'am T-shirt.
Yes,
It's hard to say this shit that laugh at sometimes. I'm sorry.
they're handmade with love.
Yes.
Yes.
Jess made every single T-shirt.
I made all the Chipped Ma'am T-shirts.
We gave her emotional support.
Right?
But keep that in mind. If you have a special order for you or your loved one, you want a special thing on your Chipped Ma'am T-shirt, the world is your oyster. I can do it. And I know that's what everybody wants. So
we'll sign it
Gotta give the
with
people
water
what they want.
semen.
Exactly. Yeah.
or both.
Well, I want to thank you all for taking an hour out of your day to spend it with me and my ding dong self. I appreciate you guys. The album's really cool. I'm excited to see like what other people think of it, and I hope that we all get to fucking hang out sooner than later and, you know, make a bunch of people in a room feel really uncomfortable and turned on at the same time.
That's our specialty.
Yeah. Well, with all that being said, I'm going to do my outro and then I'm going to let you all get the hell out of here. And that is all, folks. Thanks so much for being here. One more time, Dave Matthews Band, thank you. I'll be back again in a couple of days with some video. You'll see my face on the internet talking at you about something. So until then, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people around you. My name is Sykes. Start the beat 2021. Woo, woo. Thanks for listening. And we are done. That is a podcast.
Yay.
Thanks again, man.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
You're super welcome.
That was fun.
Thank you all. Yeah, we did it. I'm going to fade the sound.